Astrology, a timeless practice, invites us to explore the cosmic dance that shapes our lives. By deciphering the celestial script, we can unlock hidden facets of our personalities, navigate relationships with greater understanding, and chart a course for personal growth. While not a rigid blueprint, astrology offers a captivating lens through which to view our journey. Astrology hasn't always played a great place in my life. In high school, I was more of a student of astral travel than of the celestial bodies. However, I started to feel a profound shift in my life in 2019, as if I were waking up from a dream. I started feeling called to more of the metaphysical in the early 2020s, just weeks before the world shut down. I started reading tarot and astrology, started showing up in a way that I had not experienced before. My sun is Libra and my moon sign is Aries. What makes me unique is that Libra makes up a quarter of my natal chart, Aries makes up another quarter, Virgo makes up another quarter, and Scorpio creates the last quarter of my chart. I was born at 10:10 a.m. in October, the 10th month. Leo is my midheaven, shining as the sun in the east to remind me that every day is a new day, and in part showcase from the moment of my birth the role my Leo parent would play in my life. This past year, the nodes have also been in Libra Aries, with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. It's as if my insides have been turned outside and vice versa. We are exiting a couple of profound transits, and they say that this was a very powerful year for the cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are composed of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. One of these transits was a karmic 16-year cycle of Pluto in Capricorn. At this time, the South Node, which is our past, was in Scorpio, the zodiac sign of transformation. My daughter was 3 years old when Pluto entered Capricorn, and she was on high doses of inhaled steroids due to her allergies and the pollution where we lived. This all later influenced our move back to the Seattle area. My spouse at the time was also going through a struggle after a motorcycle accident that left him unable to walk for almost a year. The transit of Capricorn from the cardinal signs, although for everyone, was a lesson of how to live more authentically and to cut the ties that bound us to old patterns. The day that I applied to Naropa, the transiting sun was in Gemini in the 10th house, which rules your career, reputation, social status, and legacy. On the day that my application was accepted, the transiting sun was sextile my natal Mars, which is said to spark action towards fulfilling your core purpose, while the universe is turning up the volume on your inner drive and creativity. It is a cosmic alignment. I believe that these were both pivotal moments in my life that the astrological placements align to. By looking at the stars, I can make more sense of the transitions that have taken place in my life by connecting to the symbology of the transits that were happening in the cosmos. Exploring the interplay of astrology and psychology. In traditional astrology, most people consider only their sun sign. This sign is based on your birth date and is often the most recognized. The sun sign represents who you are at the core of your conscious experience and personal identity in the world. In many cultures, the sun holds a central position, symbolizing a new beginnings and vitality. We don't just rotate around it. In shamanic traditions, it is often associated with the east direction on the medicine wheel, connected to the element of air and spirit and intertwined with the stories of the condor and the eagle. The indigenous prophecy of the condor and the eagle is one of reunification when a new Pachacuti comes to heal the land and its peoples. This prophecy currently has the collective in the fifth Pachacuti, which began in 1990. This era is believed to usher in a higher state of human consciousness during its 500-year period. At the beginning of the 20th century, Alan Leo, Charles E.O. Carter, and Mark Edmund Jones sparked a new sort of astrology that came to be known as psychological astrology. Mid-century, Diane Rittier began introducing Jungian and humanistic ideas into the field. By the 1970s, both Richard Idemann and Bruno Huber adopted the term astropsychology, but with different meanings. Glenn Perry states that one uses astrology for the sake of clarifying psychological issues and conflicts, and the other utilizes psychotherapeutic techniques for the sake of resolving psychological issues and conflicts. I believe that the new generation of astropsychology, as explored in this paper, is a synthesis of astrological and psychological principles, drawing from humanistic, transpersonal, and depth psychology that can utilize both aspects to help individuals through the exploration of our spiritual and transcendent connection to the cosmos. Key figures in this field include Richard Tarnas, Ren Butler, Carl G. Jung, Liz Green, and others. This approach posits that planetary influences can significantly impact our psyche, activating our core self and ego to confront and integrate shadow aspects of our archetypal personality. Archetypes and symbolism. Archetypes, fundamental patterns of human experience, often originate from mythology, religion, and psychology. Carl Jung proposed that astrology serves as a reflection of the collective unconscious, a vast repository of shared human experiences and symbolism. He employed astrology as a tool in psychological analysis, using natal charts to understand patients' motivations and personalities. Jung viewed astrology as a symbolic language, believing that our perception of the world is shaped by these symbols. The Archive for Research in Archetypal Symbolism started in the 1930s, gathering mythological, ritualistic, and symbolic imagery from all over the world and from all epochs of human history. The ARAS mission is to showcase the profound role of symbols in human life across cultures and time. This includes understanding the cultural and historical context of symbols, as well as their transgenerational impact. Some symbols, particularly those associated with trauma, can be deeply embedded in family identities and belief systems, perpetuating emotional and psychological effects across generations. Symbols, as we will discuss in this paper, in their connection to astrology, can be used as a tool for exploring these wounds in our psyche. Stanislav Grof and Richard Tarnas, pioneers in transpersonal psychology and archetypal astrology, respectively, significantly influenced the foundation of astropsychology. Grof's exploration of human consciousness through psychedelic therapy and breath work revealed profound links between archetypal patterns in altered states of consciousness and astrological symbolism. In 1976, along with colleague Tarnas, Grof found astrological correlation to mystical experiences, psychospiritual crisis, psychotic episodes, psychedelic states, and holotropic breathwork sessions could predict the occurrence or illuminate the archetypal content of these non-ordinary states of consciousness, as well as the timing of when particular states are most likely to occur. Tarnas's research on these archetypal patterns in history and mythology, when coupled with astrology, helped develop this framework for understanding the planetary influence these cosmic forces have on the human experience. Grof felt that there was not enough emphasis put on the perinatal level of the unconscious related to the trauma of birth, and I feel this is a similar belief to the concept that utilizes astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, Vedic philosophy, and modern physics called human design, which creates a chart based on the unconscious design from 3 months before birth and your conscious design based on your time of birth. Astrophysical archetype. Ren Butler, who was a student of both Grof and Tarnas, has further integrated astrology with other modalities like psychology and spirituality. Butler believes that we communicate unconsciously through symbols, and astrology can help us understand these symbols rooted in the symbolism of archetypal astrology. In this, we can use archetypal astrology to predict the timing of our non-ordinary states of consciousness as we move through our journey. Our astrophysiological archetype is drawn from associated Jungian archetypes, creating a symbolic representation of our universal pattern of human experience related to the cosmos. In astropsychology, these archetypes are associated with specific celestial bodies, signs of the zodiac, and their planetary aspects. The planetary influences that I am exploring in this paper can be found to be rooted in both Jungian and shamanic traditions. My influence comes from 3 years of shamanic courses and the past almost 4 years reading tarot, drawing me to the archetypal exploration. However, many historical interpretations exist beyond my ideas, and it's essential to trust your own inner knowing rather than rigidly adhering to external beliefs as we explore these ideas. The symbology may be different for you based on several reasons. Archetypal energies. The sun symbolizes our father, the emperor's ego, self-awareness, and vitality. If we stare directly at the sun, we risk blindness, suggesting that an overinflated ego can obscure our intuition. The moon represents our mother and symbolizes inner knowing, the unconscious, and in emotions. Like the tides, our emotions are influenced by the moon's cycles. Perhaps this is why eclipses, when the sun and moon align, are so powerful, as they highlight the tensions between ego and intuition. Mercury, often associated with communication, adaptability, decision-making, education, and intellect, can cause technological glitches and communication breakdowns during retrograde periods. Venus, the goddess of love, brings harmony, beauty, and feminine energy. Mars, the god of war, embodies action, energy, fire, and masculine assertiveness. Jupiter, the largest and oblong planet, represents expansion, abundance, progress, and ascension. Saturn, the stern taskmaster, symbolizes structure, discipline, and limitations. It can also represent the repressed child within. Uranus, the planet of innovation and rebellion, brings originality and liberation. Neptune, the planet of spirituality and dreams, connects us to higher consciousness, imagination, and the unconscious. Pluto, the planet of transformation and rebirth, governs deep subconscious processes, including death and renewal. Movement of celestial bodies. The sun and the moon seem to have the most direct impact and access to the psyche. The earth is ever spinning around the sun, and it guides us through seasons of life, teaching us of our death and rebirth throughout our present moment of human experience. The moon cycles through phases, mirroring feminine creation. It teaches us to shed old layers and embrace new beginnings. Mercury, with its rapid 87.97-day orbit, offers swift lessons in communication, both self-talk and interpersonal. Mercury retrogrades, influenced by Plutonian and Martian energies, provide opportunities for intense self-discovery. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, completes its orbit in less than a year. Its recent retrograde ended in Leo, September 3rd, 2023, and the upcoming one begins in Aries, March 1st, 2025, highlighting its current fiery influence on feminine emotionality. Despite being the hottest planet, Venus is often associated with earthly and airy qualities. I think this showcases how astrology is impacting the transformation of feminine energy globally. Mars, the planet of action and energy, takes nearly 2 years to orbit the sun. I have heard often that the masculine energy is slower than the feminine in growth, and perhaps this lends to where the archetypal belief stems from. It is still a relatively quick transit cycle, allowing Mars to impact astrological aspects with significant force. Jupiter, with its 12-year orbit, and Saturn, with its 30-year orbit, both exert periodic influences on our life, marking significant turning points as we age. Uranus, orbiting the sun once every 84 years, brings about generational shifts and challenges. Neptune, with its 164.8-year orbit, has the most profound and long-lasting impact on humanity, triggering significant societal and cultural transformations. Eleanor Bartz has stated, "Neptune is incalculable. As it moves through aspects of transits, its passage, or orb as it is called, can be felt for 1.5 to up to 2 years. Robert Hand calls Neptune transits a blurring of categories. Neptune entered Pisces in early 2012 and will stay there until March 30th, 2025, when it enters Aries. There's my Aries. Hold on. My little man of war. Neptune entered Pisces in early 2012 and will stay there until March 30th, 2025, when it enters Aries. Aries is considered the first house in astrology, or the house of self, and likely will be the time to take off those rose-colored glasses of illusion and look at where the world has landed as we fully enter this new age. Moving through cosmic alignments. Grof wrote about the Mayan predictions about 2012, speaking to a belief that the end of the Mayan long count calendar on December 21, 2012 was not a one-day event, but was an evolutionary process in which humanity is still involved. Butler also hypothesized, building on Grof's work, that the Mayan astronomers were studying the exact galactic conjunction of 2012, was the winter solstice sun's passage onto the galactic equator line that runs vertically along the center of the galactic rift. Butler calculates that based on the shift of the sun, a full galactic passage takes 69.4 years, leaving orbs of 34.7 years on either side of this Mayan date. Jung wrote about the idea of an aeon, which is a vast cosmic cycle of time, as an astrological epoch age, such as the age of Aquarius we are entering. Jung believed that this spectacular moment that the Mayans knew would happen only every 25,920 years, as the equinox completed its precession through the entire zodiacal cycle, calling it a great Platonic year. This, Jung believes, is when our collective God image would emerge, moving us out of a human religious imagination to embody the qualities of the new age. As we enter this new age, when Jung's Aquarian Ion is symbolizing humanity as the water bearer, and are we using the water Aquarius carries to carve out a new human experience as we move towards Pluto in Pisces, which comes in 2043? This timing is just before when Tarnas cited a major influence of Uranus in opposition to Pluto will lead to significant societal and cultural shifts. Jung thought that Aquarius Ion was the force to constellate the union of opposites, which it just may do as we enter some rigid moments of thoughts, while the approaching water cuts through the earth to create a new birth of humanity, or perhaps being Piscean, the end of the old humanity. Between July 18th, 2026 and May 9th, 2028, Uranus and Pluto will form a trine aspect, a harmonious alignment that can bring about innovative and transformative energies. However, the most significant period of change will occur when Uranus in Virgo opposes Pluto in Pisces, starting in September 2046 and lasting until June 2048. This may be a time of great revolution, as Virgo is aligned to ourselves, our bodies, our embodiment, and the earthly abundance of money and agriculture. Pluto will already be in Pisces when Uranus crashes through this illusion, and this will all push up against the spiritual and metaphysical Piscean energy that last created the Romantic movement when Uranus was post-trine and pre-square Pluto in Pisces. Further intensifying this transformative period, Neptune will transit through Taurus from May 2038 to Gemini in July 2051. These transits can bring about a revaluation of material values and heightened sensitivity to the natural world. Combined with the Uranus-Pluto opposition, it could lead to a profound spiritual awakening and a new paradigm for humanity. Constellated through the archetypes. In ancient myths, we are told the stories of the forcing apart of the sky and the earth. The cosmos and the natural world has been unified in sexual union before this, and the separation allows us to see the cycle that humanity has been placed in as we try to bring this unity of masculine and feminine energies back together. Bringing back the connection to the period that we are in that Grof wrote about, from the altered states of consciousness from the Mayan astrologers. Mayan seers referred to the December solstice sun as cosmic father and to the Milky Way as cosmic mother. They envisioned the center of the galaxy, where modern astronomy places a giant black hole as her creative and destructive womb. The time of the galactic alignment was thus the time of a cosmic Eros Gamma sacred marriage between the feminine and the masculine. Tarnas has stated that we are not yet constellated, implying that we have yet to come together to form a unified whole. Perhaps that is the work that Neptune is doing in this current cycle that began in 2012. If we are now shifting from the materialistic scientific paradigm being the core to the cosmic soul creating informed spiritual and archetypal consciousness due to this emergence of a grassroots spirituality that in part Isn't astrology a growing part of the work being done? If we are collectively experiencing a divine period of cosmic alignment to constellate, then the celestial bodies may be significantly influencing our inner and outer development, shaping the future of life in the cosmos. As we move through this spiritual experience, we can't just look at the sun and walk away blindly. We may be walking into the reunification of all elements for a higher state of psychospiritual death and rebirth. Biogeochemistry has shown us that the Earth we know has had many evolutions of its elemental self developing both pre-oxygenation and post-oxygenation life forms. The planetary sparks bringing a vital new life which connects to the current cyclic state of the cosmos and the holistic union that our life on Earth has with the universe and around us.